I change the connection. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम मंत्र नंबर 2। यदर्चिमत् अणुभ्यो अणुच यदर्चिमत् अणुभ्यो अणुच यस्मिन् लोका निहिता लोकिनश्च यस्मिन् लोका निहिता लोकिनश्च तदेतदक्षरं ब्रह्म तदुप्राणत् तदेतदक्षरं ब्रह्म स प्राणस्तदुवाङ्मनः तदेतदक्षरं ब्रह्म स प्राण तदुवाङ्मनः तदेतत्सत्यं तदमृतं तदेतत्सत्यं तदमृतं तद्वेद्धव्यं सौम्य विद्धि तद्वेद्धव्यं सौम्य विद्धि। Last time we saw this Archimat, that which is self-revealing. To reveal its existence, it doesn't require an agency of any sense organs, including the mind. That I am is self-evident fact. Archimat anubhyo anuhu, that which is the very substratum of everything. And that being the case, it is subtler than the subtler or smaller than the smaller. And Chakara says bigger than the biggest also. Anubhyo anu yasmin loka lokinascha nihitaha. All these worlds and the indwellers have their being in whom? Because it is a very Sat Swarupa. Therefore, they have their being, like all the ornaments have their being in the gold. Tadetad aksharam brahma, tadu prana, tadu vang manaha. And we have seen tadetad satyam, tad amrutam. That is satyam. Tadetad satyam, tad amrutam. Amrutam means that which is not negatable in any which way. You can negate everything, but cannot negate I, the self-existent I. Tat vedavyam saumya viddhi. Okay. This sentence is in connection with the next mantra. Tat vedavyam. Okay. Means what? It should be pierced. You can literally translate. But the actual meaning is tad vedavyam, that is something to be known. And hey Saumya, O pleasing one, O son, may you know this. That's what teacher says. Why it is said it is to be known? I have option what to know and what not to know. Why does Shastra say it must be known? Shastra may say it must be done. You must do this. Like there are certain injunctions or obligatory duties which one is supposed to perform. Why Shastra? Even every country has that. Every citizens have certain duties along with the rights. You cannot have a constitution which talks of only rights of the citizens. It will have the duties of the citizens as well. So it says, this is to be done, this should not be done, all that will be given. Similarly, Shastra also say, this is to be done and this is not to be done. Even if Shastra says, I don't believe in it, I am not for it, I don't want to do it. Yeah, you can have that option. Whenever a given Shastra of a given religion says something to be done, they have some goal, some objective in them. Why they say, if you don't do, God in heaven will punish you. he will take you to hell. And if you do, then he will take you to heaven. That's okay. That's a temptation, lollipop. Like children, do this, I will give you that. Don't do that, I will not give you that. I may say, I don't want to go to heaven. I don't care. Who cares for heaven? That to hereafter. We'll see when it is there. But now let me have my life over here. So you may say, but our Shastra, when it says you have to do, you have no option but to do. Why? This is called religious fanaticism. Swamiji, you are talking of your Shastra as something which is to be done by everybody. Why? I am not interested in what Shastra is offering me. Most of these religions, they are running on the concept of exclusiveness. Means, if you follow our God, then only you will go to heaven. Our God. And they say, our God is the only God. That everybody says, our God is the only God. And then the second sentence is, our God is only God, but there is no other God. But if it is only God, why should you negate no other God? I have not to negate. There is only space. This space is the only space available. There is no other space. When you say only space, where is the need to say that there is no other space? Only space word implies there is no other space. But they say, our God is the only God and all the gods of other religions are not gods. That means you accept them as gods. And then you are trying to negate them as non-God. That is your statement against my statement. And who is right and who is wrong? How do you know? Neither you can bring your God in front of me, nor I can bring my God in front of me. So there is nobody to tell I am the only one. And suppose both of us bring, not we don't say that, but suppose two such guys bring their gods in front of each other. The gods will quarrel. I am the only God. The other fellow will say, I am the only God, And then it is endless. And then it will be a great fight in the heavens also. Listen this. I am telling this statement with responsibility. I mean, when Shastra says you have to do, means you have to do. It says that Vedavyam, you should know. Why? The reason is the goal revealed by our Shastra is moksha. That none of the religion other than Hindu Dharma talks of moksha. They all talk of salvation or going to heaven. And as Swamiji would say, it is all tourism promotion, going to heaven, offering all temptations. These are available in heaven and you go to heaven. We never say. Our Shastra does say going to heaven, but in the same breath, it says if having gone there, you will come back. You cannot go to heaven just by being faithful. You go to heaven by doing karma, such karmas, dharma karma. and for certain specific karmas for going to heaven. But having gone to heaven, you will come back. Heaven is not the end that we talk about. Our goal is moksha. Moksha is knowledge. Okay? Knowledge is moksha, and moksha is knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of truth, that is me. The absolute truth, that is me. What does it mean by that? The knowledge that aham ananta, ananta, I am limitless. The knowledge that self is limitless, non-dual, that is moksha. That should be known because I want to know. Shastra, listen the difference. Shastra doesn't give you a goal. All other Shastras give you a goal. Hey, go to heaven. You will get hurrays. That is what they say, And you will get dinner in the heaven, etc. Our Shastra doesn't say there is a goal, moksha. It just clarifies the goal that you want. They are not adding a new end. They are saying this is what you want. They are giving us the clarity about what exactly I am seeking in my life. What exactly I am wanting in my life. That my ultimate want, that is being clarified by the Shastra. How do you say, Swamiji, I want moksha? I don't want moksha. No. I want car. No. I want mobile. And somebody may say, no. I want a house or a new job, or I want a visa, or I want to travel. I have not traveled for the last 2 years and not gone to India. I want to go to India. That is my moksha. And somebody may say, I want to get married. How can you call that as a moksha? If it is other way around, there can be some moksha. I want divorce. Then it can be called as moksha from that, some mukti. But the goal is getting married. This fellow wants to get married. That is true. Why you want? Ask. Why you want to get married? Why you want to go to America or India? Why you want car? Why you want mobile? Why you want new home? Why you want new job? Because that is better. Because I am unhappy. I am incomplete without it. Each one of us are mukti, means freedom, to be released, to be free. Each one of us are seeking freedom from dukkha. Every moment of our life, all pursuits of our life, right from childhood, what all I pursued, toys and cars and playing here in the street and etc. Whatever I wanted is only with one objective, freedom from dukkha. And I want happiness, total happiness. That's what I want. That's what every human being is seeking. Shastra says that's what I am offering. What you are seeking unknowingly, Shastra helps us to discern the problem. This is the problem. And then it gives a solution also. That solution is not somewhere hereafter. It is you. The problem is you. Solution is you. You don't need to look for solution. You just need to know yourself. Atma is Purna. Purna Madav, Purna Midam, Purnat Purna Mudachyate. So you are complete. That is a solution. And that is what each one of us want. Therefore, that is a goal revealed by our Shastra. They are not adding a new goal. They are just giving us a clarity about what we are seeking in life. We are wanting that. And they tell the solution that what you are seeking is you. Tat Tvamasi. Tat, that you want, that is a sort. The sort is Tvamasi, you are. And to gain that goal, listen, Hindu Dharma that we should know. People tell this. I am telling this, in the yesterday's legal symposium also I told everybody. And B.R. Santosh also, Ji also was listening, and Chief Justice also was listening. Our CJI, Chief Justice of India, I said, Supreme Court is telling, and all our politicians tell in India, what is Hinduism? Hinduism is a way of life. It is not way of life. Way of life is not the end. Way of life is a means. Hinduism is vision of truth. And the truth is you. That is what they are revealing. That is, the truth is revealed as Brahman. Truth is Atma. I am Atma, Brahman. That is the truth. So vision of truth, and to own up the vision of the truth, our Shastra has a different view of life and way of life. View of life is Chaturvida Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. How you look at your life. Kama and Artha is a natural Purushartha, but it should be on the foundation of Dharma. And Dharma itself is not the end, Moksha is the end. So view of life is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Prapti. And way of life is our Varnashram. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Ashram, etc. That is a way of life. But the goal is discovering that I am Nitya Mukta, Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham Shivoham, the Baddhona Mukta Ityadi. The discovery is the goal. That is what Hinduism is. Discovering this fact. Since it's a matter of knowledge, every knowledge presupposes certain qualification. And that qualification means that to gain a frame of mind. In Shastric language, Shuddha Antakaranam, Ekagra Antakaranam, mind which is pure and focused. That mind is a means for understanding this knowledge, gaining this knowledge, owning of this knowledge. And for that, Shastra gives karma. If you want moksha, better do that karma. And then moksha is a goal where you have no choice. It is not subjective, it is universal. You have a choice in what dress to wear and what not to wear. You have a choice in what to eat and what not to eat. Where to go, where not to go. All the choices. But I have no choice to be happy or not. Should you not become unhappy? There is no choice. I don't want to become unhappy. It's choiceless. And I want to become happy. It is also choiceless. It is not subjective. It is universal. To gain this universal, urge, to fulfill this urge, universal urge that is within me as well, you require a frame of mind to understand the Shastra. And the frame of mind is gained by certain karmas. Therefore, karma told by Veda is to be done. You have no choice but to do. If you want moksha. But as I said, it is not a subject to choosing. I already have want that. I already have chosen that. Choicelessly, I am seeking moksha. In other words, choicelessly, I am seeking ananda. Choicelessly, I am seeking happiness. Therefore, vedavyam, tat vedavyam. That is to be known. And tat vidhi. May you pierce it. No, may you know it. Okay? And this vedavyam shabda can create a confusion, something to be pierced. And therefore, there is a simile that is given here. Look at the third mantra. Dhanurgruhitva aupanishadam mahastram. Dhanurgruhitva aupanishadam mahastram. Sharam shupasa nishitam sandhita. Saram shupasa nishitam sandhita. Ayamya tadbhavagatena chetasa. Ayamya tadbhavagatena chetasa. Lakshyam tadevaksharam saumya viddhi. Lakshyam tadevaksharam saumya viddhi. Dhanurgruhitva upanishadam mahastram. Sharam shupasa nishitam sandhita. Dhanurgruhitva upanishadam mahastram. Sharam gruhitva sharam shupasa nishitam sandhita. Ayamya tadbhavagatena chetasa. Lakshyam tadevaksharam saumya viddhi. Ayamya tadbhavagatena chetasa. Lakshyam tadevaksharam saumya viddhi. He saumya viddhi. He saumya, may you know. Or he saumya, oh pleasing one, oh beloved one, may you understand it. May you know it. Okay? What is to be known? Tadeva aksharam. That is akshara. What akshara? Which we were told in the beginning. Atha para yayatad aksharamadi gamyat. The subject matter of para vidya is akshara brahma. So when I know the akshara brahma, that means subject matter of para vidya being akshara brahma, the very vidya gets fulfilled. Knowledge is Brahman. And there was nothing to gain, nothing to lose for a wise man. But then, if that wise man may have nothing to gain and nothing to lose in his or her life, but then that the person around him has to gain and lose in life. And that is why it says, Sharam Gruhitva, Dhanur Gruhitva, Upanishadam Mahat. Dhanush means bow. Hold the bow. It's a simile. What is a bow? He says, Aupanishadam Dhanuhu. Okay? Aupanishadam Mahastram Dhanuhu. Mahastram Sharam. Upasa Nishitam Sandayita. Okay? So, Sharam Hyupasa Nishitam Sandayita. Sharam means arrow. When you have an arrow, and if you hit the target, but if the arrow's edge is blunt, it will not hit it, it will just fall down. So here it says, Aupanishadam Mahastram Dhanuhu Gruhitva Sharam Upasa Nishitam Sandayita. Okay. The Antakarana is a tira. Antakarana Avachinna Chaitanya is a tira. Means Jivatma is a tira. And it has to pierce as though Brahman. And that being the case, Nishitam. Nishitam means very sharp. Why? What does the sharpness here it means? What is a bow here in our life? So the bow is bow, and what is the arrow? Let us start from the arrow. What is the arrow? Antakaranam is the arrow. Okay. And how this Antakaranam is to be sharpened? And what is a bow? Bow, Upanishadam Dhanuhu. Upanishadam. In Sanskrit, the beauty of the language is you have elbow room to form your own word of your own choice. You create a word out of word. So you cannot learn Sanskrit by taking a dictionary and looking for every meaning. They may not have it because the compound is created by you. You know, it's a beautiful language. You can keep adding new compounds to it and new suffixes to it, and thereby you can create altogether new meaning to it. That is your choice, your option available to do. And there is a beautiful example that I had received a few days ago about the beauty of Sanskrit. The word ahihi means snake. Ahihi ripuhu. You added the word ripu. Ripu means enemy. The enemy of the snake. That means ahihi snake, ahiripuhu is eagle. Garuda, which is the enemy of the snake. Then if you add one more word, pati, ahiripupati. So master of the enemy of the snake, means master of Garuda, that is Vishnu. Ahiripu Patihi becomes Vishnu. Then you add who is the wife? Ahiripu Pati Kanta. Kanta means his wife. The wife of Ahiripu. You know, Ahiripu Pati. The husband, the master of Garuda, his wife, the person. Then it is, then who is the father-in-law? We say, you know, this Lakshmi is from Kshir Sagara, Sagarodbhava. So you can add this, Ahiripu Patihi Kanta Pitu, father of the wife of Vishnu. That means ocean. So all that you can have elbow room in Sanskrit. It goes on and on till 10 or 12 suffixes. Ahi ripu kanta, patihi kanta tataha. Now, ahihi or ahi ripu pati kanta tata sambandhi. Anybody related to ocean, you know, in a short, but then he uses ahi means snake, ahiripu means this eagle, and pati is master of the eagle, that means Vishnu. Tasya kanta, tasya patni, so wife of Vishnu, and then kanta pati tasya ahiripu pati kanta tata tasya sambandhi. That means what? Rama. And then Rama, you can add other also, you know. Ahiripu kanta tata sambandha kanta, his wife, that becomes Sita. Ahiripu pati kanta tata sambandha kanta hara, one who has kidnapped the wife of Rama. In short, that is Rama, Ravana. So how much? Ahiripu kanta tata sambandha kanta hara. It goes on. This is the beauty of the Sanskrit language. You know, so it says Upanishadam. The word Upanishad, and from there you derive a new word Upanishadam. Just as the word is Kunti, we derive a new word called Kaunte. There is a word Pandu, you make it Pandava. That is Taddita. Adding a meaning to a given word by adding a suffix. So Upanishad is like Arsha. From Rishi, the word Arsha. That belongs to Rishis is Arsha. Arsha Vidya. Ultimately, what belongs to Rishi is Vidya. So Upanishad means Brahma Vidya, and Upanishadam, that which belongs to Upanishad, that which is revealed by Upanishad. Okay. He says, Dhanur Gruhitva Upanishadam Mahastram. Then Astra and Shastra, those days. They used to imagine. The Astra can go away far and can be invoked through the grace of gods by invoking the mantras. And Shastra is the one which involves physical fight, 1-to-1. So, that here he says what? Mahastra. It is Astra, great Astra. Where it is Mahastram, why it is said that Vidya is endless. And then he says, Mahastram Sharam Upasa Nishitam. Sharam, the arrow is this. Okay. The Vidya, Brahma Vidya, some knowledge of Upanishad is arrow. And then he says, Upasa Nishitam Sandahita. Upasa Nishitam Sandahita. What is the aim of Upasana? May you keep in mind. What for you are doing this, may you keep in mind all the time. And Tadeva Aksharam Samyavitti. May you know that Aksharam Brahma, or may you hit that Aksharam. Suffocation. Okay. Let us understand this one by one. Upanishadam. What is revealed by Upanishad? What is talked in Upanishad? That is Upanishadam. Upanishadam Mahant. That Tattva means Mahan, means limitless. Having known the limitless nature of the teacher, and that being a fact, not a teacher in that sense, is consciousness being limitless. So Upanishada becomes Upanishadam. Okay? Upanishadam means what? Dhanur Gruhitva Upanishadam Mahantam. Upanishad itself is a Dhanu. Upanishad teaching is Dhanu. And Lakshyam Tadeva Aksharam Saumya Viddhi. May you have a focused approach to the goal, and then Chetasa Lakshyam, through the mind you have to hit. It is not some physical hitting only through the mind. I will look at this. Atma Sharam is Atma, the consciousness, the self. Okay. And then he says, Upasa Nishitam. Nishitam means with a sharp edge, sharpened. That mind which is sharpened through Upasa. What is sharpened mind in Shastra? Sharpened is a mind which can sustain the opportunity to talk. One who enjoys certain inner leisure, then it is worth it. And when you enjoy relatively yourself, then you are ready for absolute ownership of absolute self. What you want in absolute measure, you have to be that relative. Like when I want to catch a train which is already in motion, I can't stand and hold it. I have to run for some time and get into it. So he says, Dhanuhu Gruhitva Upanishadam Mahastram Shram Shupasa Nishitam Sandhita. Sharam upasa nishitam. The antakaranam which is sharpened means which is a pure relativity by the grace of the God, and that with that antakaranam sandhita, may you focus on the Guru. Ayam tad bhavagate chetasa, withdrawing all the sense organs and having the mind with tad bhava, always engrossed in Brahman, that being a lakshyam, tadeva aksharam saumya viddhi. O Saumya, this is the aksharam Brahma. Okay? Lakshyam is Brahman for everybody. And that Brahman is also talked about here as Omkara. There is a reference to Omkara. What is Omkara? And why should I worship? That we'll see in the next class. But at least as of now, you know, Upanishad has given upasanas. And primary upasana is Omkara. So every mantra begins with Om. Om Jai Shri Ganesh, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. So that is there. That is given by Upanishad, certain our ancestors. And tad bhavagatena chetasa, more you withdraw, more you enjoy yourself, that is, then you will become tad bhavagatena chetasa. Your mind will be focused, or your mind will become one with the gamyam agamyam. Thereby you will know. I think I have something coming up. I will close early, and hopefully we'll have class next week as it appears. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om.